She said she was fine, but her swollen eyes told another story. The plumber, who had only come to fix a broken pipe, found himself standing at the doorway of a woman whose silence spoke louder than any words. And what he asked next changed both of their lives forever. Then why are your eyes swollen? This isn't just about a leaking pipe or a stranger's question, it's about how broken hearts can be mended in the most unexpected ways. Stay with me till the end, because what began as a simple house call, turned into a story of healing, love, and second chances. It was late afternoon, and the sound of dripping water echoed through Sarah's quiet home. The kitchen sink had been leaking for days, but she hadn't found the energy to call anyone. Her world had already felt broken. What difference did a broken pipe make? But when the water began spreading across the floor, she finally picked up the phone and called for help. That's when Daniel, the local plumber, arrived. He wasn't extraordinary in appearance, just a hard-working man with worn boots, a toolbox, and hands that had fixed 100 leaks. But what made him stand out was something people rarely noticed at first, his ability to sense pain in others, even when they tried to hide it. Sarah opened the door slowly. Her hair was tied in a messy bun, and her eyes were red and puffy, as though she had been crying for hours. Still, she forced a smile. "Come in, the kitchen's this way." Daniel walked in, noticing the silence of the house. No music, no children's laughter, no warmth. Just silence and the faint scent of lavender candles trying to mask the emptiness. As he bent down to check the pipes, he glanced up at her. She stood there awkwardly, arms crossed, avoiding eye contact. Something tugged at him. He could tell she was holding something back. He asked casually, "Everything okay?" Sarah let out a faint laugh, brushing at her cheeks. "I'm fine." But Daniel paused. He looked at her, really looked at her. Her eyes were swollen, her voice shaky, her smile forced. And so, without thinking, he asked softly, "Then why are your eyes swollen?" The words hit her like a wave. Nobody had asked her that in weeks. Everyone else accepted her "I'm fine" as truth. But this stranger, this plumber with calloused hands, had seen through her walls. For a moment, Sarah froze. She wanted to push him away, to say it was allergies or lack of sleep. But her voice betrayed her. It's nothing. Just a bad day." Daniel didn't press, but something in his eyes told her he understood more than she wanted to admit. As he worked on the sink, Sarah found herself watching him, almost searching for a distraction from the storm in her heart. The rhythmic sound of tools, the calm way he handled the mess, the patience in his movements, it all felt strangely comforting. By the time he finished, the leak was gone. But Daniel didn't pack up immediately. He wiped his hands, looked at her again, and said quietly, "Pipes aren't the only things that burst when they're under too much pressure. Sometimes, people do too." Sarah's breath caught in her throat. It wasn't just a statement, it was an invitation to let go of what she'd been carrying. That night, after Daniel left, she sat at the kitchen table for hours, replaying his words. For the first time in a long time, she didn't feel completely invisible. The next day, Sarah woke up still thinking about Daniel's question. She had been alone for months since her husband walked out, leaving her with unanswered questions and a heart that felt too heavy to carry. Friends had drifted away, tired of her silence, and family lived far. She wore the mask of being fine so often that even she almost believed it. Until yesterday. And then, almost like fate, the sink began acting up again. This time, Sarah hesitated before calling. What if he thought she was making excuses just to see him again? But deep down, she wanted to hear his voice. To feel that quiet strength in his presence. Finally, she dialed. When Daniel showed up, he noticed right away that she had been waiting for him at the window. Her eyes still carried traces of sadness, but there was also something new, hope, fragile but alive. He worked quietly, but Sarah couldn't hold it in any longer. As the minutes passed, words spilled out of her. She told him about the long nights, the sudden abandonment, the loneliness that ate at her. She admitted she had been crying not just for what she lost, but because she no longer knew who she was without someone by her side. Daniel listened. Really listened. He didn't try to fix her pain with quick answers. He didn't say, "It'll be okay," or "You'll move on." He just let her speak, and in his silence, she felt understood. Finally, she asked, almost whispering, "Why are you being so kind? You don't even know me." Daniel looked up from the pipes, his eyes steady. "Because I know what it's like to hide behind 'I'm fine.' My wife passed away 5 years ago. For months, I told everyone the same thing. But inside, I was drowning. I only survived because someone once stopped and asked me the same thing I asked you." The room grew still. Sarah felt tears burning her eyes again, but this time they weren't just from sorrow. They were from relief. Someone understood. Over the weeks, Daniel returned, not always because the sink needed fixing, but because Sarah needed someone who saw her, not her mask. Slowly, the cracks in her heart began to mend. She started laughing again, even at small things, and Daniel found himself smiling more too. By the end of the story, Sarah realized something powerful, that healing doesn't come when you pretend to be fine. It comes when you let someone step into your brokenness and remind you that you're not alone. And as for Daniel, he had fixed hundreds of pipes in his life. But this time, he had helped fix something far more important, a broken soul. This story isn't just about Sarah and Daniel. It's about all of us. How often do we say, "I'm fine," when our eyes tell the truth? Sometimes, all it takes is one question, one moment of kindness, to change everything. So the next time you see someone hiding behind a smile, remember the power of asking, "Then why are your eyes swollen?" You never know, you might be the reason someone learns to live again.